What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, August 19th, day 35 inside the Big Brother house. Big plans for today's veto ceremony were made. Tucker plans on blowing the roof off the place. And if you want to see Angela twerk, you're going to want to watch till the end of this video. Let's talk about that, plus all the intel, drama, and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Real quick, before we jump into the live feeds from yesterday, let's talk about the episode from last night. Not too much of note that we didn't really already know. It is always cool to see that scramble. I talked about that on yesterday's update, but really not much new info was given. We did see Tanks and 6th Avenue get mentioned on the episode, the two alliances with Tucker, Rubina, TK, Chemo, Angela in Tanks, and then you add in Joseph, you get 6th Avenue. But other than that, pretty basic episode where we saw pretty much a lot of what I'm about to tell you in our recap, where we saw Tucker win HOH. We didn't actually get to see that on the live feeds. Then we saw his nominations of Quinn, Brooklyn, and Cam, with Brooklyn being his target. Quinn doesn't necessarily believe this right now, but that is his actual plan. Now, a further recap for you guys. Tucker has won the power of veto, and he has his plan to take down Quinn, put Chelsea up as the replacement nominee, and if either Brooklyn or Chelsea being the main targets, depending on who wins the AI arena. TK and Chemo do not like this plan. And that takes us into what happened yesterday. First off, Chemo got to work. He was going to try and save Chelsea from the block with Tucker, giving all kinds of reasons on why, it's probably not the best idea. He was pushing MJ as the possible renom. Legit, this is more work than TK and Chemo put in for Rubina last week. And Rubina actually wants to work with them. Chelsea doesn't even barely think about them, and they are putting in so much work to try and save her. TK actually says I'll have to go talk with Tucker later about this and try and do more to keep Chelsea safe, because Chemo was like, I kind of forgot some points. I don't know if it really worked. He seems like he's still pretty adamant that she would go up instead. Spoiler alert, TK never went to talk to Tucker. I think you guys probably already knew that, but she did not ever go meet with him. Meanwhile, Joseph went and met with Tucker, and he actually told him, he's like, listen, I bet you TK and Chemo are going to try and save Chelsea. They're not going to want her up on the block. But I'm telling you this, Brooklyn was the one who messed with your clothes during the veto competition, which was something that Tucker was really mad about. Like, he really went off on Quinn, and Brooklyn kind of just let that all happen. So he's still heated about this, about somebody messing with his clothes, messing with his stuff, and he is not happy that it was Brooklyn. Now, Joseph also chatted with Angela, and I really thought this was great because Joseph was getting close to Angela, making sure like she was comfortable, and it just seemed like a really good move for him to kind of create that bond with somebody who's in his alliance that he might not have that great of one with. Especially when they started really great at the beginning of the game, but she lost all faith in him very early on. And again, this seemed like it went well. And then she went and told Rubina that Joe was sus. She's like, he pulled me to the side and started talking game, and I don't know, it felt very sus. I don't like this. But later, Chemo actually told Angela, he's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Joseph did that because he wanted you to feel included. And he knew that you hadn't felt included in the past, and he wanted to make sure you were good with that. And she was so happy to hear about that. So it started good for Joseph, then it went bad, and then it ended pretty good with him, I think, with him and Angela. We also saw Chelsea and Brooklyn having a conversation on how to game plan going forward. One of the things I thought was pretty funny was how they were like, I don't think that Chemo and TK actually started the whole flip vote. And honestly, they're really not wrong, because in a way, like Chemo and TK, they did not they didn't really start the vote, right? The vote was just happening, right? Like the people who were voting to keep Rubina were voting to keep Rubina. It wasn't like they went around and got votes to keep her. Those were just people that were going to keep her anyway. And then they jumped on board. They just never said they weren't going to do it. So, like, I don't know. Did they really actually, orchestrate a flip? Not really. Not really. So they're kind of right on that. They then also talk about, like, what their preferred boot order would be. And after Leah and Angela, TK is right up there. Who's trying to do all this work to help Chelsea stay off the block? Kind of wild. And Chelsea also thinks right now that the nominations are going to stay the same and that Quinn's going to be going. Brooklyn feels like she's good with votes as well against Quinn. So they are completely fooled and have no idea what's going on inside the house right now. They actually end up meeting with Rubina and they tell her, like, yeah, we want to work with you and Tucker. Like, we don't want to go against you guys. We want to keep you safe. Rubina filled all that stuff into Tucker because she didn't buy a word of it. And just about how, if they won HOH, they wouldn't go after Tucker. They would go after Angela. And Tucker's like, you go after Angela, you're going after me. So, yeah, they are not on board with anything that Chelsea and Brooklyn are trying to pitch. And Rubina says, like, they still won't even admit to her that they were going to vote her out over MJ, right? Like, if they won't even say that part is true. So they just continue to deny and deny and deny all the stuff that they were trying to do. Tucker then ended up meeting with Leah, and he tells her there's snakes. There's big snakes, and they're birthing baby snakes, and he knows Quinn is going around talking about all the kind of stuff, and he's worried about that. But Leah also said she had something to tell him about Quinn. And maybe it was just about, like, the final two that Leah and Quinn had, but I thought that was already known. Maybe she never told Tucker directly, so maybe that's what she was. I actually never got to see them chat later to see if Leah actually even told Tucker anything, but it did seem like she had something important to tell him about Quinn. I don't think any of that really changed his decision-making process for what he's going to do, though. Tucker then goes and tells Joseph he's going to blow the roof off this place. Joseph's like, don't even tell me. Like, I don't even want, I just love seeing it. I want to be surprised when it happens. Tucker then ended up meeting with Quinn. Originally, Quinn wanted to do this as a big group, right? He wanted to have Chemo, TK, Rubina kind of all there with Tucker, but Tucker's like, no, let's do this one-on-one, right? Let's do this mano-y-mano. And they went up onto the balcony and kind of did their thing. Tucker told him how, like, listen, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with this veto, but I know some things, right? I know that Brooklyn and you had a final two. I also know that you told her that you're only a pawn, and I told you not to tell Brooklyn or anybody that. And Quinn was, uh-oh. Uh-oh. And you know what? It was one of those things where eventually, though, Quinn started kind of telling him, like, hey, like, this is why I was hesitant about, like, working with you when people would bring, like, that, Tucker wants to work with you. It was like, I didn't know I could really trust that or not. And one of the big things with Tucker is he likes that Quinn, even though he lied, he's coming clean about stuff, right? Whereas Brooklyn and Chelsea, they will not, to this day, admit any of the things they were doing. They just keep denying. And he said he knows that Brooklyn was the one who threw his clothes around. And he feels like, you know what? Maybe they could, make some amends here. But he said, don't go telling anybody what's going on. Quinn also made a really good point, I think. And I don't know if Tucker bought into this, but it was something that was actually true as well. Quinn was talking to TK and Chemo about eventually flipping on that group for weeks. And that is true. He really was. And he kind of told him, he was like, yeah, I was hurt that they didn't include me, but I also understand because they were trying to work with you and about, like, the underdog alliance and things like that, where they were trying to kind of get together, and it just never really worked out. But it seemed like it was a pretty decent little combo for the two of them. Now, Brooklyn ended up meeting with Tucker, and she's like, listen, I just hope everything stays the same. Win goes. She is worried that if she ends up being against Cam, but that could be a thing. And this is, I kid you not. She goes, yeah, the only person I really have in here is Chelsea. Why would you admit this? Like the one person that you do not want to sit next to, you're going to be like, yeah, that's my person, right? Like, it's the only person I got in there. This is a very similar mistake that Devon and Bailey made on All Stars when they ended up telling Christmas. They were like, well, she's kind of my one person, right? Like, don't put her up. What do you think's gonna happen if you tell somebody this? Just completely baffling that was the route she went. Tucker actually later ended up telling the rest of the group that Brooklyn was playing the mother card again. Did you guys know that she's a married mother? I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but she is. She's a married mother. She's a mother with kids. It's a thing. And she's in the house. It's like a first or something. It's almost like it never happened. After he met with Brooklyn, Tucker ended up meeting with Cam, but Cam's just vibing, baby. He's just doing his thing. It's like he's barely there until he is. And Tucker ended up telling me, he's like, listen, you're a pawn, bro. Like, don't even worry about it. And like, you don't even need the AI arena, right? Like, if you lose AI arena, you're still going to be safe, but don't tell anybody. Tucker always does this where he makes sure to tell people, like, hey, don't tell anybody, you know what I mean? Because he wants to see if that information gets back to him, which is good. Here's the thing with Tucker. He's a good player. He's just so chaotic and bored in there and just trying to do so much that he's being way more entertaining. But a lot of his moves and a lot of the things he does in the game make sense, right? Especially for him and his game on how he wants to keep going through it. He's just a giant ball of chaos, and it's fun to watch. Speaking of fun to watch, Angela's living her best BB life right now. She is just having so much fun. She feels included and just no stress and drama. She's a have-not, and I thought this was going to crack her. I thought being a have-not, not sleeping well, not eating well, I thought it was going to make Angela go off the deep end. If anything, she seems happier and healthier and just living a better life in that house right now than she's ever felt before. I think Angela should be a have-not for the rest of the season. It might be the best thing for her. In fact, she's doing so well, they were teaching her how to twerk. Like I said, if you want to see that, you're going to want to watch till the end of this video. Other than that, though, we did eventually get Tucker meeting up with 6th Avenue. Kind of tell him, like, listen, I'm using the veto. I'm pulling Quinn down. Chelsea's going up. Brooklyn, if she ends up winning, Chelsea's got to go because I want Cam to be safe. He is not a threat. And he says, I'm blowing it all up, right? I'm listing off the collective, the mini collective that's inside of it. And they're like, I don't think that was the name. Yeah, you know it's the Pentagon. Tell him it's the Pentagon. So he plans on blowing everything up in the veto ceremony today. It's gonna be wild. I cannot wait for this all to go down. We then also had TK and Rubina meeting up real late at night, and it seems like TK's kind of changed her tune here a little bit. I don't know 100% what happened, but she's telling Rubina, like, oh yeah, like, I'm kind of done with Brooklyn and Chelsea. It seems like she's realized she can't save them anymore. And you know, I don't know, maybe she'll wake up tomorrow and she'll go complain to Chemo that they you know, aren't listening to them again. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, she's probably just gonna wake up and complain. That's just what TK does. But I'm excited for today's live feeds. It's going to be wild with this veto ceremony. Tucker is just keeping us on our toes, and I love it. Other than that, guys, that is all I really got for you. It's going to be in a good one today. Thank you guys all again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you joining me every single morning. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Check out the links in the description, pinned comment down below to all my socials. Twitter, Discord, great places to keep track of everything going on with the channel. When new videos get posted and things like that. We also have a lot of other great channels where you can chat about sports, other reality shows, and just anything that's on your mind. So it's a great place to kind of hang out. Check out things like Kick and Twitch. I know I haven't streamed on there in a while, and I keep saying I'm going to, but I will eventually. BB just dominates a lot of my time. There's also things like Throne and the Ori Fun, or you could even join the channel if you wanted to support as well. But the biggest support and the easiest support you can do is smashing that like button. Thank you guys all once again, and I will see you next time.
Okay.
And look kind of up, like
Okay.
kind of stand up.
And then you're tucking this.
And then
you're
pull
rotating
this.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good at doing it.
A little better.
So if you keep your back still,
Kind of like.
you are kind of doing it.
Yeah.
You're kind of doing it.
I gotta keep trying. I gotta practice that alone.